All right, so my name's Eleanor Rodriguez. If you don't know me, I'm from the United States. My Instagram and TikTok is Sporty Eleanor, and I've been able to grow my Instagram now to I think like 97.6 thousand followers, and my TikTok to about 18.2 thousand. I've gone into archery since I was 12 years old, did it recreationally for many years, went to college, was playing other sports at the same time, and then after college I decided to really take archery more seriously. And at that point, I had okay equipment, but I really had aspirations to get better equipment. And like any other archer, most of us post about our on our social media about our tournaments or how we did, things like that. And I started off with Instagram. This was right about the time when Reels became introduced to Instagram, so those short form video content. And they're really in competition with TikTok, and so I started posting some of that, and my account kind of blew up from there. And it sort of opened my eyes to the amount of reach that I was able to get with my social media. And I started thinking about what ways I can start leveraging that reach that I have. And that's where we're going to go into that today, kind of the benefits of having a bigger social media, and also how to approach sponsors. Because for me, with my shooting, I'm a decent archer, but I'm definitely no Olympian. And the fact that I've been able to gain all of these sponsors, sorry.
Get something.
um, okay. So the fact that I've been able to gain all these sponsors has been amazing for me. I'm able to try out new equipment I've always wanted to try out, formulate great relationships, and I just get to share my sport with a bunch of new people. So we'll get into it, and also feel free, we have a Q&A at the very end, but if you have questions as I progress through the slides, feel free to raise your hand, let me know. Okay, so first thing is going to be personal branding. So for me, I kind of got a catchy name, Sporty Eleanor. It's something people can easily remember. And most of my theme is pink on my page. So I have a custom painted pink bow. It's very simple things, but you want to create sort of a brand image for yourself. I also recommend too that you create your own archery page. So I wouldn't recommend having your personal social media and then trying to post some archery stuff on your personal one. I suggest creating an entirely separate account that is a professional Instagram account just for your archery. Now you can share a few things that are more personal to you. I think that adds a nice personal touch to your page, but just things like, sharing maybe like a picture of your pet or like your food, unless you really tie it back into what the account is all about, which is going to be archery, I would probably stray away from that. What else? And then also identifying your voice. So like I have here, you can be either lifestyle orientated, storytelling driven. Some people like Jake Kaminsky, he does a lot more of product reviews. That's his voice. For me, I have different voices depending on what platform. So TikTok, I actually do a lot more informative things in answering people's questions. On my Instagram, I do a lot more entertainment type value where it's just cool angles, music, it's synced up. And of course, I always answer people's questions in the DMs, and I take time to write out my captions that are very thorough. But you can have different voices depending on the social media platform, but just stay consistent with it and find your style. Okay. Talking too long. Hello. Okay. I hope we didn't miss one. Okay, content strategy. So types of posts, frequency. So for building a social media, it's like doing arrows. You have to be consistent with it. You can't expect to get any sort of results if you're just posting maybe once a week, once every other week, kind of all over the place. I think a good starting point that I always recommend is trying to go for 3 times a week is what I would recommend. But really hold yourself accountable to it. Create a plan as to what you want to post. And I always find it helpful. I keep a note sheet on my phone of just different content ideas as they come to my mind. So let's say I got some new fletchings. Maybe I'll do a review comparing my old ones to the new ones and what are my thoughts on that. I just recently got a new Easton bow case, so I actually at JVD, when I was packing up, I was just showing people, okay, this is how I pack up my bow case, this is what I have in my new bow case, and these are all the different storage areas in my bow case. So just keep a log of that, and do a nice mixture. So especially for Instagram, now that we have the option of doing reels and photos, a lot of people, I know like me, I like to doom scroll sometimes on TikTok and Instagram. So I more gravitate towards the videos. I find that resonates a lot better with people. It's more shareable. People tend to scroll through videos a lot more than they would with photos. But every once in a while, I'll sprinkle in some photos. Let's see. Okay, building engagement. So one of the most important parts, and I find, especially like before I had a big social media, I would sometimes reach out to some of these big time archers that I really looked up to, and I would sometimes ask them questions, and very rarely would I ever get an answer. And so this is where building engagement and building a community on social media is going to be very important if you really want to go the route of not just only being like an Olympian, but also if you want to approach the route of doing more influencing of archery on social media, you really need to be engaging with your audience. So anytime I get a DM that's asking me a particular question about my equipment or what are my thoughts on the types of arrows that I'm shooting, or what would I suggest as far as brand, I'll give them a full thorough answer that's really thought out, as well as any sort of messages that or comments that I get on my posts. I really try to go in and reply back to them, given that they're asking me like an actual question about whatever it is that's archery related. So yeah, just really be on top of your direct messages as well as your comments, because I find that I'm way more gravitated towards somebody that I'm following if I'm able to access them. So if I'm able to ask them questions and they actually take the time to give me a thoughtful response, it goes a long ways. And then also just engaging with other archers posts. So another thing that I do, aside from just following other archery accounts, you can actually follow hashtags. So I actually follow like just some very common hashtags like World Archery, USA Archery, recurve archery, things like that. And so that way you get people that you're not just following, but people in the broader archery community. And if you like and you comment and show some engagement, that's another great way to expand your reach and to introduce yourself to people that you normally wouldn't come across. Okay, leveraging analytics and insights. So this is going to be very important. When you go onto Instagram or TikTok, you're going to create a professional account. So it's going to give you the option of doing personal or professional. You're going to want to do professional. And under the professional accounts, that's where you're going to get access to those analytics and insights. So when you're on your page for your Instagram, there'll be actually a button on there that says, forget if it says analytics, something like that. And it's going to give you a breakdown as far as gender, age, country, most popular cities, which posts got the most likes. You can see your engagement month to month. You can see how many comments, how many shares. You can really get into all those details. And with that, you're going to want to look at what you're doing and experiment at first, because sometimes one angle isn't going to work for you. So let's say you try really going for the more educational angle with your content, and then you decide to switch it up and you do more of a quick product review rundown, and that really took off for you. Pay attention to that and try to replicate that same style maybe with another product. See if that also does well. So just paying attention to trends, and when you see something working for you, lean into it, because that just might be your calling as far as the content that people are looking for from you. All right. Okay, sponsorship and collaboration strategy. So once I started growing my account, on my Instagram, I was reaching probably around 20,000. This is when I started to quickly have the realization, okay, I might be able to try getting some sponsorships. So I went to Vegas that year, and my first step, I went to Whiffler Industries. And so I focus on products that I'm currently shooting and I currently enjoy. And so I went up to the booth when I was at the tournament, and I said, hey, like, my social media is growing, and I made sure to tag all the companies that I was using at the time. And I said, you know, I presented what's called a media kit, which is just Google it, and there's lots of great tutorials out there on how to create a media kit. But back to those analytics, you're going to just screenshot those analytics and show them, okay, this is how many people I'm reaching, this is how many likes I'm getting, this is how many people are sharing my content. And so I was showing Whiffler Industries, I was like, hey, like, a lot of people are getting eyes on your product. Would you mind doing maybe a sponsorship? Would you be open to that? And he was more than happy to collaborate with that. And from there on, I was like, okay, I'm kind of onto something. And that's when I started looking at YouTube videos of other creators that weren't necessarily in the archery space, because that hadn't really existed at the time, but just even other sports or other content creators that get sponsorships, looking at their videos on how they approach that. So when it came to a lot of these other companies, I really leveraged the fact that I was going to these international competitions, and I had a really big takeoff when I went to Nîmes, because it helps to send them an email, a direct message, sharing your media kit, as well as just information about yourself and your archery. But when you go to these tournaments, taking the time to go up, meet them, say, hey, like, did you get my media kit? And did you get my media kit and my archery packet, and would you be open to a collaboration? And I always tell archers, if they say no, don't accept the answer. You need to ask them why they're saying no. Because if they're saying no, it's for a reason. And a lot of the time that reason is something that you can work on. So whether it means, okay, we need to see higher engagement, we need to see a higher follower count, we simply just need to see better results from you at a tournament. That way you actually have goals that you can set. So definitely don't ever take no as an answer. And a lot of companies too now are starting to implement that graduating kind of pro staff program. So Ramrods has the developmental team, they have the gold team, and I forget what the top pro team, yes. And so I came in on gold team, and then recently, now I'm on pro team, since I stuck with them and I absolutely love their products. Before you reach this point though, like I was saying, when I was doing my posts, I tagged every single company that I shoot in every single post, regardless. So even if I was doing a review comparing a spin wing to Gas Pro vanes, I'm still showing my entire bow setup, so I'm tagging all of those companies. So that way they're constantly getting that ping notification that you are posting about them and you're showcasing their equipment. Okay, cross-platform strategy. I talked a little bit about this, but it's okay to recycle a lot of your content. A lot of us don't have all day to be on social media. I have a full-time job outside of this, as well as archery, travel, all of that. So it's okay to recycle the content. What I recommend when you're recycling the content, though, is these platforms has gotten a little tricky where if you save the video and it has this watermark on the video, it will significantly lessen your views. So I suggest just save the video completely outside of the platform and then take that video and you can share it across multiple platforms. And this also comes down to when you're like planning. Go ahead, just like make a week where you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna take one video, I'm gonna post it across 3 different types of platforms, and you can do that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then as far as different platforms that I would suggest, Instagram is gonna be your biggest one because a lot of sponsors are gonna be on Instagram. That's their biggest form of sharing. So I would put most of your focus on your Instagram. If you want to incorporate another layer to it, that's where I would suggest either YouTube or TikTok. TikTok is one of those platforms that you can very quickly grow, which is great. YouTube takes a lot more time. You're going to have to take a little bit more time learning just video editing, making sure you have good quality camera footage, audio, all of that. So just kind of weigh out what's gonna be more of an interest to you, as well as what you find works best for you. For me, YouTube, I've just never focused on. I simply just don't really care to get too much into the video, long form style content. And one minute. Yeah, so with YouTube, it just never resonated for me. And you also have to consider, what are you most motivated to post on? Because it'll get to a point, okay, it's fun to see your likes going up and things like that, but then it starts to become more of a task over time, kind of a little bit of a job sometimes when it comes to posting. So find a platform that you feel that you can at least maintain and stay consistent with. Okay. Setting realistic goals and staying consistent, again, same thing as with shooting arrows. You're not going to see results unless you stay consistent. I posted on my Sporty Eleanor page. So before it really became more of an archery focused page, I used to do competitive ballet as well as figure skating. So I would share things about my ballet on there. And it was years before my Sporty Eleanor page really took off and I kind of found what worked for me. So it's hard to say because there's some people that just blow up and they're just an overnight sensation. Other people, it just takes time to find your specific area that really resonates with your audience. So if you're seeing low numbers, I encourage you, experiment again, go back to the analytics, see what's performing best, try to replicate that again, see if you're still getting the same results or better. And yeah, just tracking progress and adjusting and setting monthly goals. So sometimes, it's best to start off, if you're not used to content creation, start off with 1 or 2 posts a week. Then you're going to graduate maybe in 2-3 months to 2 or 4 posts, that sort of thing. Because content creation, it sounds easy, but when it comes to like now you got to get a bunch of videos, you have to ask either a coach or a friend to take these videos for you. Then you need to edit it together, find a nice music, think of a thoughtful caption for it, or things like that. Take up brain space in general away from your shooting or your job. So as you get better at it, it's going to come quicker and quicker and you'll be able to create more content So just set those goals and gradually work your way up to being able to create more content week to week. And then this is all of my contact information here, so or just feel free to like send me a message or anything like that at any point. Do I have any questions here? Yes.
Do you balance your training and shooting and your recording and social media? Because I feel like if you go to a training session with the goal to train and then go, oh, I need to post a video for social media, that takes a lot of time out of what you could have been using to shoot properly.
Yeah. So for me, I would say, so again, you have like a content calendar. So you're going to go into the shooting day already knowing, okay, I need to either just get cool video shots of me shooting, or I'm going to talk about my riser for a video, let's say. You're already going into the day knowing you need to do that. So plan accordingly, just set, a 30-minute mark for just focusing and getting that done. I also suggest, for me, I don't do any of the editing or posting when I'm at the range. I just film the content. When I'm home laying in bed at night, that's when I can take the time to actually like edit it together and post it eventually. Also, another thing too is a lot of people seem to think that you have to post something the second you take the video. You really don't. A lot of the time, sometimes I will even post videos a couple weeks after the fact. So don't feel like it needs to be necessarily instant. Just make sure you take your time to edit something nice, nicely put together, and then go ahead and post it. I hope that answered your question.
Do you have any strategies on how to prevent yourself from finding yourself doom scrolling and forgetting that you opened the app to post something?
So I'll repeat the question this time. So he asked if there's any strategies to prevent doom scrolling on social media once I've opened it. I do allow myself to have time to doom scroll, but when I'm going out, because like I said, I also have a full-time job outside of this, which my full-time job is being a social media manager for a thermal and night vision optics company. So yeah, I spend a lot of time on social media, and when I go in to work or I'm there to post, I really just like lock in and I say, I'm here to create and I'm not here to consume content. So before you even start opening the apps, and if let's say your goal for the day was to post, start off, just get the post out of the way, and then you can go ahead and doom scroll after that. Also, to prevent my doom scrolling, you can set timers within TikTok, Instagram and stuff, where it will send a notification, hey, you've reached your 20-minute mark for today. Do you want to keep going or not? So that's another great way to kind of cut yourself off when you're in that mindset of just going through videos. Any other questions? I'm also happy to answer questions about more about sponsorships. I get a lot of questions on social media regarding that and approaching sponsors. Yes?
Earlier about making a professional account. Is there a way to switch to a professional account from a personal after you've already?
Yes. Yes, you can do that, I believe, on almost every social media channel. I know for a fact you can do that on Instagram and TikTok. So if you're already posting archery stuff and you want to switch your current account to a professional account, you just go up into the settings and it'll say like an account type in there, and you can go ahead and select that, and it'll ask if you want to switch it to a professional. When you switch it to a professional, it's going to ask you what type of account you are. You have a couple different options as far as what you can pick. You can pick athlete, that's what I picked for mine. And you can have that category showing on your page or not. I think I took the category part off of mine because I didn't want to be just stuck to one little area, but it still is a professional account, so I get all those analytics and everything. I actually had one other thing to mention regarding just getting in contact with people, which I didn't mention on the slides. So on social media, normally on Instagram and TikTok, you'll be able to have a link in your bio area. I highly suggest that you create what's called a link tree. And so it's just a one link, and so people will press the one link, and that link tree, it's a separate website and you can build your link tree. So just Google link tree and you'll be able to create that, and you can have multiple links. So on there I have where people can quickly access all of my different social media channels, as well as I have every brand that I'm on pro staff for, I have all of the products that I use linked in my link tree so people can quickly access that without having 50 links on my bio. It's all consolidated to one. So that's another great way for people to get in contact or email you, things like that, and have it all nicely packaged. But that was it for today. So thank you so much for showing up.